Rob, I know football fans say, can we play you every week? Do you feel the same about Coventry, having scored in both fixtures against them this season?
No, not really, to be honest. They're a very tough side to play against. But I've enjoyed both goals against them this year.
Yeah, talk me through the goal. It was crucial just before half-time.
Yeah, no, it was important. I feel like we definitely deserved at least one goal from our first half performance. So glad that I could get it for us, really, and it's a great time to score as well.
Yeah, 3 goals for the season. What kind of? We'll talk about your defensive responsibilities in a moment. But how important is it that you, as a defender, your area ability, do tuck in with some goals?
Yeah, it's important that that all of us around any position we play, it's important that we all chip in. Every goal is so valuable. So just pleased that I could do my part the other night.
How are you feeling? Are you tired with all the games you're having to play at the moment?
No, not really. I'm used to it. I've played football leagues for years now. I'm used to the 3-game weeks and stuff. I actually prefer it, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm fine.
That's good. And how did you assess the performance on Tuesday? I think it says a lot about the progress you're making, that there seemed to be a real disappointment you hadn't won the game.
Yeah, no, I said last week that Coventry is one of the most difficult places, or one of the most difficult teams to play in the season. So to come away disappointed with the draw is definitely, it's positive, but we feel like we could have we could have definitely come away with all 3. It's just a real shame to concede late on, especially after scoring late ourselves. But unfortunately, these things happen, and we take a point away from a Coventry team who are doing well at the moment. I think they're unbeaten in quite a few games, so it's not a bad point in hindsight.
Yeah, because there's a picture of Ellis Sims I've seen celebrating the goal, and you're in the background. You just look devastated.
Yeah.
I mean, do you look back at every goal and how avoidable it is?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it was avoidable. I was a bit gutted as well because I'd followed it in. I reacted to it, but it's just gone. Unfortunately, fell into his path instead of mine. That happens in football. But yeah, I was just devastated for the team, really, for myself and the team and everyone, because to come away from there with 3 points would have been big for us.
Because I was looking at your defensive record last week, and it's up there with the top teams in the Championship. How as a defence do you think you're performing? Was it at West Ham City switched to 3 at the back, and that seems to be the way forward at the moment? How's that going for you?
Yeah, no, we're pleased with how it's going defensively. I think it's always the whole team though. It's never. I wouldn't say the back 5 is doing, or the back 4 is defending well. It's always falls on us as a team. When we defend well, you have to credit the whole team, because we work in a structure that allows it to make it a bit easier for us to defend.
And Ross McCrory, how much of a boost is it having him available? He's added something to the team, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's added a good bit of like physicality as well. He's added to the team. You could tell he commits to everything that he does, which is good, and he's a good lad around the place. Like, we like having him around in the change room, and he's just a good character to have as well.
And how is the mood of the supporters rubbing off on the players? It'll be another sellout against Leeds. You've got a big game at Forest next week as well.
We're well up for it. We, just as the fans are, we just want to turn our performances into 3 points, really, because I feel that a lot of the performances have warranted 3 points, but that doesn't count for anything unless you get them. So yeah, it's great that it's another sellout. It's amazing support, so hopefully we can get the win for them.
I'm not superstitious, but the last time you said that about to turn a corner, I think you went on that winning run. So let's get the same off you again, because you haven't won in the league since Boxing Day. I mean, is that on your minds? Is it almost forget how you play on Friday night, let's just win the game?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'd never say forget how we play, because the performance lays the foundation to go and win. But we're definitely due a run like we did over the Christmas period, and I think that run that we had was in a really busy schedule. So hopefully we can show our sort of character and grit to come through this next really busy period and pick up points.
And you gave Leeds a game at Ellen Road. I think they can enter the top 2 if they win. You want to stop that. What kind of threat and dangers do they throw?
We were really frustrated coming away from there with nothing, because we gave them, I'd probably 2 very avoidable goals. We gave them the chance to score, and we could have had some ourselves. I think we could have had a penalty, but we just, as a group of players, I want us to be confident and believe that we are, we can mix it with the top 2, 3, 4. Like, I feel like we can play anyone and beat them, but we need to, really turn up, really show up for it and be the best version of ourselves, really. But we're confident going into the game.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Because I think it was at Leicester where you came away with a 1-0 defeat there, and it was a little bit backs against the wall.
Yeah.
I know it was frustrating with the penalty.
Yeah.
And then you said something there that we can't just be satisfied coming to places like Leicester and just kind of like restricting them. And then the Leeds game, I remember Cal said a similar thing as well.
Yeah.
That it's all well and good that we played okay against a good team, but we got to start winning these games. Is that feeling increasingly enhanced?
Yeah, that's the mentality that I want us to have, and I want to have, because words are very cheap after a game where you say, "Oh, we should have come away with more," or we battled well. But points are the most important thing. We feel like we can mix it with the top, the teams in the top 6. We want to be in the top 6, so we need to go and show the league and ourselves and the fans that we should be there and pick up points.
So I guess what kind of needs to change to do that?
I think we just building on our performances and just adding that finishing touch, to be honest. I know we scored 2 goals the other night, but I feel like we're getting into really good areas. If we can just capitalise that on that a little bit more, I just feel like we're letting teams off the hook a little bit. Early on against Coventry, the first 20, 25 minutes, we were getting into some great areas, and they were, what I say is, like, we had a lot of good chances to create big chances. They weren't clear-cut chances, but we're getting in areas that we can definitely create them. And it's just about finishing that, and we conceded 2 very avoidable goals the other night, and that's where it matters in both boxes.
Can you talk a bit about your role in the 3? You've obviously got Cam outside you, which was in the case in the 4 anyway. But kind of, is there any different? Because there is a lot of focus on you almost as a passer, more so than in a 4. Is that fair?
I think you could easily say that I'm probably getting into kind of more advanced positions on the left hand side.
Because you're often spare.
It's kind of like, if it's a little bit of an inverted fullback role in possession, and I'm enjoying it, and I enjoy bringing the ball out and stepping in and stuff like that. Maybe there is a bit more of an onus on me to create for us as well, but I'm more than happy with that role. I quite enjoy it, and the way we work, we want to the 3 down, like myself, Pringy, and then whoever the left winger is, whether it be Anis, Twiney, or anyone who plays there. We do a lot of work on the training pitch on how we work around each other or with each other to get one of Anis or Pringy down into like dangerous areas. But I'm enjoying my role in the team, definitely, yeah.
So is that within a session you might get the 3 of you together?
Yeah, up against like against three defensive players, or three other players, and just working it so that we can get into dangerous areas, or switching it out wide. So I feel like if we switch it a little bit more, so if I go to like say Zach and then the right side and it comes back, the more you move the team across, the bigger the gaps become. I feel like we can improve on that, to be honest. But just things like that. Yeah.
On the set pieces, you're kind of a bit of a victim of your own success in a way, because you're double marked a lot of games, aren't you?
Yeah.
Are you finding that increasingly?
Yeah. You hear it as you go up. You say, make sure he's marked or whatever. So obviously teams are doing, but I'm happy to act as almost that leaves space for other players to go and capitalise. So it kind of works both ways. If 2 people are occupying me, then that means that someone else should be spare.
Do you kind of have to change your movement, change your jump, change your timing when you go?
A little bit. I mean, it depends who's marking me. If I feel like, for example, if we're playing against Millwall and their biggest player comes and marks me, I'll just go and take him right out of the picture and let someone else, and hope that someone else kind of scores, and then I feed off the seconds. Yeah, it does. But if it's usually whoever marks me, I usually fancy myself to kind of get at least one header in out of a few corners. So yeah.
You've had a good look at the Championship now. You played every team at least once. A couple of teams played twice. Where do you kind of see City within the league in terms of every other team? So I appreciate.
I don't think we've come away from a game, bar probably Leicester away, which was a while ago now, and thought that we're quite a bit away from where they are, like in terms of performance. But it matters in both boxes what we do. We really need to be more ruthless in both boxes, to be honest, and then that will allow us. I want to sit here and say we should be in and around the playoffs, and I firmly believe we can be, but it's on us to tidy up in both boxes really and be more ruthless.
So using the game at Ellen Road as kind of a reference point, is that basically, you're going to encounter a similar-ish team? Is that essentially what's got to change?
Yeah, I mean, well, they are a team that is ruthless in especially their attacking box. They've got some really good attackers that we need to be wary of. But we think we can cause them. We've looked at things and think we can cause them problems going forward. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it should be an exciting game, to be honest.
Cheers, Rob.
Cheers.
Hey, Rob. Obviously, you spoke about your goal in midweek. Obviously, the second in 2 games against Coventry. It was a bit of deja vu with the crosser as well. It was Taylor on both occasions. You must feel like he's going to find you every time when he gets that ball. Gets out of his
it was a similar cross and similar kind of header. I was a little bit in the home game. Was a little bit further towards the back post, but I know that Tails is going to put in a good delivery from that area, and I kind of know what area to attack. It's nice to be able to rely on someone to put the ball in a certain place for you. It's just on me to make the run that I'm available. Yeah,
and on the runs, is that something kind of right place, right time, or do you look for triggers when you get knocks the ball out?
No, I will look for, because obviously you don't want to be on. You don't want to be offside, but you also don't want to be in there too early. You want to give it, like for me, I would like to give myself a bit of a run up so I can really go and attack it, and then I feel like no one can really do too much about it.
Yeah, obviously you've spoken about your busy schedule of late, been playing almost pretty much every minute.
Yeah.
How would you assess your season so far on a personal level?
Personally, I think it's going quite well. I'd like for us to be keeping more clean sheets. As a defender, naturally, I'd like that, but I think. I'm quite pleased with how it's going so far. I feel like I've got more to give. I would never sit here and say perfect 10 out. But I think it's gone okay. I'd like to think that the club, the fans and the club could be quite happy with me. But I also feel like I've got more to give, more levels to go.
Yeah, and a couple of clean sheets against Premier League opposition recently. That must inspire a lot of confidence. How did you find the challenge against playing against those Premier League teams? Yeah,
good. It's different. It feels more. The teams in the higher the team that you play, it feels a bit more structured and it feels much more of a tactical game, which I think we are good at. We need to take those performances into the league. Not that we haven't, but also, like I keep saying, in both boxes, we need to be as good as we have been in our own box in the league, really.
Yeah, and that must also provide you a bit of confidence. So it's saying that you kind of see similarities.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, if you can keep a clean sheet against a West Ham or a Forest, you like to. It does give you confidence. But in FA Cup games, when it's like it's a sellout crowd, it's big stadiums. It's easier to kind of maintain your focus. You can't. There's not one. You can't, for a split second with the opposition you're playing against. You can't lose focus. And as a team, you can't lose focus in the Championship. But naturally, sometimes players might do. We need to remain focused and keep our concentration and really work hard to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, and Scott Twine's obviously come in. Obviously, he picked up a bit of a knock, but got his debut goal. Yeah. What have you seen? I'm not sure how much time you've had to train with him. But
not a lot to be fair.
Not
a lot, but I see good things, and his set piece delivery is great, but I don't want to kind of box him into that. He's more than that. He's a really good player. He's a tidy player, good technically. He seems to have a good football brain. The manager's had him before, I think, and he knows a good football brain when he sees one. So it's exciting for him to be here.
Yeah, and just finally, you've spoken before about learning from the negative experiences. I think you gave a few examples weeks ago. What can you take from that experience midweek and learn from that going forward?
Yeah, just depends what situation we find ourselves in the game. Like the other night, we scored at a really good time and then conceded at a terrible time. Managing the game and stuff. I know sometimes individual error that happens, but as long as we can be there for each other and really work hard, and we always do. We always work our best. This is probably the most honest dressing room I've ever been in, hard working and honest. So as long as we keep managing games and seeing out difficult periods, which you're going to get in every game, then we should be all right.